For many of us, the relationship we have with our animal companions is very, very important.
I know that's the case for Roy and me, and that's why we're always interested in new and natural ways to keep our animals healthy.
So that's why we went to Connecticut to meet a veterinarian and his wife who've developed a holistic approach that's attracting national attention.
Bob and Susan Goldstein want to change the way we care for and care about the animals in our life. Dr. Bob, as he's known, has been a veterinarian for over 4 decades. He's a pioneer in using nutrients, herbs, and acupuncture to treat animals. A founding member of the Holistic Veterinary Medical Association and the author of a textbook for vets on how to integrate complementary medicine into their practice. His wife, Susan, is a specialist in alternative therapies, emotional healing, and nutrition for animals, and co-author with Dr. Bob of a book on natural care for dogs and cats. In 1995, they founded the Healing Center for Animals to provide consulting services to veterinarians across the country.
We developed basically what's called a metabolic nutritional analysis of blood results, and so it's done through a veterinarian's office, where the veterinarian would take blood and we would interpret the results of the blood, not disease-wise, but metabolically or nutritionally. And based upon the blood, we would then put a custom blended nutritional program together for that animal, specifically to support the animal's general health and any condition that the animal has.
Susan has also founded a health food store in Westport, Connecticut, exclusively for animals.
It's a true health food store. And actually, I was advised by people with expertise in marketing that it would fail, that I had to at least sell some pesticides, sell some insecticides, sell a couple of foods that are loaded with chemicals, and I said, then it's not a true health food store. And we stayed true to the principle of organic and natural, and it really has, there's been a need, and I do think that the movement now in the pet industry is in the direction of more and more health food stores for animals. The consciousness has shifted.
Susan and Dr. Bob both credit a golden retriever named Lee with guiding them onto their life path.
We had adopted Lee from Guiding Ice from the Blind when he was 11 months old. He was a golden retriever. He had been trained and was rejected due to hip dysplasia. We were the logical adoptee parents. And Lee was just an amazing animal. So he crippled up at age 7. We had been maintaining him conventionally on cortisone. And at age 7, we were facing euthanasia. And at the time, I was working for a Foundation for Alternative Cancer Therapies in New York. And I brought some information home. And we changed his diet, put him on a vitamin, mineral, antioxidant program. And Lee was healed. And he lived to be 17 years of age.
What we're talking about in the holistic area is therapeutic nutrition, actually using food and nutrients and herbs as a healing modality.
Michelle Margot's dogs have benefited from Dr. Bob's holistic approach, especially a rescue dog named Katie.
Katie I rescued about 8 years ago. She's a mix that came from Tennessee. And I noticed early on that she had high levels of anxiety, and then her skin started to turn black. Ooh, and the vet thought it was her thyroid. So she was on medication for many, many years. And even the vet wasn't comfortable with her being on the medication because he said it was really hard on her kidneys and liver. Yeah. And we didn't know what to do because every time we would take her off, she would get worse. And so finally I went to Dr. Bob and I told him, what was going on. He read all her blood work and analyzed all her medical records, and he said, I think she should be on this natural supplemental program. So she's been taking natural supplements for her thyroid and anxiety, and the black skin started to fade, and her anxiety started to fade, and she just became happy. And it's amazing. So she's been on that program for about 1.5 years now, and it's an incredible difference.
Jamie Keever had a similar experience with her dog Harley as he was dealing with cancer.
Changed my world, changed my dog's world. It was absolutely amazing.
How so, Jamie?
Harley did go through chemo, but I truly believe what Dr. Bob did made my dogs and my life much better. Harley, he had the typical, hot spots and itching and, typical things that you see in some dogs. When he went on Dr. Bob's program, changed his coat, it was gorgeous. His skin had never been better. He had never been happier. He had so much energy. It was just absolutely incredible. And the oncologist kept, he could have diarrhea, he could be vomiting. Never had those problems at all. Never lost his energy. This went on for probably a good year and a half, almost 2 years. When he was first diagnosed, they said to us that he probably had 3 months, to live. And almost 2 years later, he was still with us.
In addition to addressing physical problems, the Goldsteins also try to deal with the emotional aspects of their animal patients. One resource they use for that dimension of their practice is a California herbalist and animal communicator named Sharon Callahan.
I think that it totally changed everything for us when we began to take into consideration the animal's spirit, the animal's emotions, and to incorporate a compassionate way of treating them.
Many people who come to me have used Sharon when they come to me, and basically they say, this is what Sharon has said, and basically I will incorporate whatever Sharon is picking up about the animal's emotions into the overall program. I'm dealing with one right now where there's a family and the two dogs are going after each other. They're aggressive. So I have them on some programs to try to balance the immune system, and Sharon has them on some programs to see if they can take away the anxiety and the triggers, and the combination of both is working very well for those animals.
Bob and Susan Goldstein say the animals in their life have brought them many blessings, and none greater than what they learned from a tiny yellow bird named Macmillan.
One morning, very early morning, when we were living in the woods in South Salem, New York, I noticed that he was acknowledging sunrise just as I would, a human. And he was actually saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, as he was greeting the sun. It brought me to my knees, and it was an extremely humbling experience. At that very moment, when I observed that type of appreciation in our bird, I heard a little voice, and it went, if you can pray, if you can express gratitude, then I do not own you. And everything changed for me that day, the way I view animals. My relationship has gotten much deeper, and I also feel that my work has taken on a new meaning, greater purpose, if you will, because I understand them now. They are not second-rate citizens. They are big messengers. And when you decide not to view yourself as an owner, it's almost like they bless you. They get closer to you, and they share things that are extraordinary.
The day after we met Macmillan, while videotaping this story, he sadly passed away. He'd lived more than 25 years. He'd brought Bob and Susan much pleasure, and through Susan, before he left, he brought all of us a profound message. We feel very blessed to have met him and to have shared this message with you.